In this module, we will basically understand the extended Huckel theory, and our special focus will be on the extended Huckel theory, which was given by Hofmann in 1963. But before we go to that, let's try to recap what are the salient features of the Huckel theory and what are its limitations. As you already know that Huckel molecular orbital theory was one of the first semi-empirical methods which was proposed by Huckel in early 1930s. If we look at the Huckel molecular orbital theory, there are certain assumptions of this theory. First is, it's basically applicable only to planar conjugated pi systems only. And in this theory, we treat only pi electrons. That means sigma electrons are not treated, and therefore one basis of this theory is sigma pi separation. Second thing which is important in this is that it ignores electron-electron repulsions. This is also very important point in HMO. Then the basis of Huckel molecular orbital theory is only the 2p z orbital of the carbon atom. That means only the pi orbital, that is the 2p pi orbital of carbon atom is considered. Sigma electrons, as we have already mentioned, they are not considered in this theory. Besides this, we have already seen that in this theory, the Coulomb integrals for all carbon atoms are taken to be the same. Coulomb integral, as you know, is HII, which is the integral psi I star h cap psi I d tau. Though all carbon atoms are not identical, but then they are similar, but for them alpha values, that means the Coulomb integral value is taken to be the same. Secondly, all resonance integrals beta, which are related to the carbon atoms which are directly linked, they are taken to be the same. That means Hij, this is the resonance integral, and that is equal to integral psi I star h cap psi j d tau. This is taken to be equal to beta. But here I and j must be directly linked. If the two carbon atoms are not directly linked, then this resonance integral is neglected or is taken to be 0. That means it is a big assumption here that only the nearest neighbor are considered in HMO. Next to this, we have the overlap integral, and we have already seen in our earlier modules that in the HMO, Sij is taken to be equal to 1 if I is equal to j. That means on the same atom. But Sij, which is the overlap integral, if I is not equal to j, that is taken to be 0. So with all these assumptions, HMO is quite successful in explaining the electronic structure of pi conjugated molecules, and that is what we have already seen in our earlier modules. Now we will study that why do we need to extend Huckel molecular orbital theory? What are the basic features which can be considered under the extended Huckel molecular orbital theory? Now we will study how Huckel molecular orbital theory can be extended and what are the ways by which it can be still made better. So these are now the features which we will first discuss. First is about the neighboring interactions. As I mentioned earlier, in the HMO, we consider only the nearest neighbor interaction. But that may not be true, that only nearest neighbor interaction will determine the energies. it's quite possible that non-nearest neighbors also influence the molecular orbitals and energies. Therefore, another way is to take into account the non-nearest neighbor interactions into account. So, for example, in the case of butadiene, if we look at this, as you can see here, we have already derived the Huckel determinant in our earlier modules, and this comes out to be under the Huckel molecular orbital theory as it is alpha minus E beta 0 0, and then you can see the whole determinant is shown here. Here this determinant has been written taking into account only the nearest neighbor, because you can see only the first neighbor on each carbon atom is considered. But if we take into account the non-nearest neighbor, then in that case the corresponding extended Huckel determinant in the case of butadiene would look like this. This is very important. Please note it carefully. This is alpha minus ES11. Then we have beta 12 minus ES12. Beta 12 is the resonance integral between carbon atoms 1 and 2. Then we have beta 13. Now beta 13 was earlier assumed to be 0. S13 was also assumed to be 0 in the HMO, but here we are taking their values. So it becomes beta 13 minus ES13. And then lastly, we have beta 14 minus ES14. Here you have noticed that we have taken non-nearest neighbor interaction into account. And one important point here is that even the overlap integral has also been considered. In our HMO, as I mentioned earlier, Sij was taken to be 1 if I is equal to j, but Sij was taken to be 0 if I is not equal to j. But here we have taken their specific values. So that is how the determinant gets modified when we take into account non-nearest neighbor interaction. So this is one feature by which Huckel molecular orbital theory can be extended. Second feature which influences the energies and which was not considered in HMO is the bond length alternation. Because bond length alternation refers to the difference in the bond lengths of the two adjacent bonds of a pi conjugated system. And these bond lengths do influence the resonance integral. If the two bonds have different bond lengths, then they should have different beta values. So this can also change the corresponding determinant. The basic assumption is that beta, which is the resonance integral, is a function of bond length. Now look at this butadiene again. Here you can see that there are three bonds, CC bonds here. C1, C2 bond is 1.34 pm, picometers. Then C2, C3 is 148 picometers and C3, C4 is 134 picometers. That means the two bonds C1, C2 and C3, C4 are of equal length in contrast to C2, C3, which is slightly longer. So in this case, if we take this bond length alternation into account, it should also influence the corresponding resonance integral. On the other hand, if you remember in the case of benzene, all the 6 bonds are of equal length. Therefore, in that case, beta values would be the same for all CC bonds. Third feature which can be considered and through which determinant can be modified is when we have the corresponding heteroatoms and other substituents. In our pi conjugated system so far, we had only carbon atoms, and for them we put the corresponding Coulomb integrals, which are the alphas. But the Coulomb integral alpha for carbon will not be the same as the Coulomb integral say for a heteroatom nitrogen or oxygen. because they differ in their electronegativities. Therefore, if we take into account the heteroatoms or the substituents, then the corresponding Coulomb integrals will also have to be considered for these heteroatoms. Take an example. For benzene, for example, in the case of HMO, the benzene Huckel determinant is as it is shown here. You can see here all alphas are same, all betas are same, all alphas are same. Why? Because all are carbon atoms. Why all betas are same? Betas are same because all carbon-carbon bonds are of equal length. And then in this only the nearest neighbor interactions have been considered. That is why all other values have been put to be equal to 0. Now if we have instead of benzene the corresponding heteroatom containing moiety, say pyridine, as you can see here. We have numbered it also. Here you can see there is one heteroatom, and therefore there could be a different, there are different, you can see the bond length values. So there is a bond length alternation. Taking all these features into account, one has a corresponding pyridine Huckel determinant under extended Huckel method can be, as you can see, first row if you look at, it is alpha C1. That means the alpha value of carbon atom 1, then minus ES11. That's very obvious. Next is beta 1,2. Beta 1,2 represents the corresponding bond 1,2, beta 1,2 minus ES12, then beta 1,3 minus ES13 and so on up to beta 1,6 minus ES16. Similarly, the second row corresponds to carbon atom 2, alpha C2 minus ES22. If we extend it, you can see that the last element in the last row is alpha nitrogen 6. That is now a different Coulomb integral. Here we have the Coulomb integral of nitrogen atom alpha N6 minus ES66. So that shows that if we take into account these features, the corresponding Huckel determinant gets modified. And one another way by which Huckel theory can be extended, that is by considering both sigma and pi bonded molecules. That means in Huckel molecular orbital theory, which we have studied earlier, we were separating pi electrons from sigma, and pi electrons sigma separation was one of the salient features of HMO. But in principle, one can also consider both alpha and sigma electrons. That will give us a better insight into the electronic structure of the molecules of the system under consideration. So these are some of the features. What are the features? Features are, as you have seen, non-neighboring interaction. Considering that, then we have the bond length alternation, and then we have the heteroatoms and their substituents, and lastly sigma and pi electrons. These are the features which can be taken into account and by which Huckel molecular orbital theory can be extended. So we have seen that how Huckel molecular orbital theory can be improved, and there is no one method. There are so many ways by which people have improved, and all such techniques are called extended Huckel theory. But in this module, we will lay our emphasis on the extended Huckel theory, which was proposed by Roald Hoffmann in 1963 and is of course based on Huckel's method. So we will now discuss the salient features of extended Huckel theory of Hoffmann. First feature which is important of this extended Huckel theory is that it takes into account both sigma and pi electrons or pi orbitals of the molecule and can be used for both planar as well as non-planar molecules. This is a very important point. Secondly, like HMO, this theory also ignores electron-electron repulsion. However, unlike HMO, where we were ignoring overlap, in this theory we calculate explicitly all overlap integrals. So this is another important feature of the extended Huckel theory. Extended Huckel theory begins with the approximation that the complete Hamiltonian is the sum of one electron Hamiltonians. That means H cap is summation Hi, summation is over all electrons which we are considering. But the Hamiltonian Hi, we don't need to specify it. The complete electronic wave function for the molecule under consideration is taken to be the product of one electron wave functions. One electron wave function means the molecular orbitals psi i's, and the total energy E of the system is taken as the sum of the corresponding one electron molecular orbital energies Ei. So as you can see here, the total wave function psi is the product of psi i's. Psi I is the one electron molecular orbital, and the corresponding total energy is the summation of Ei's. Now question is, how do we define psi I? Psi I, or each molecular orbital, is taken to be the linear combination of atomic orbitals phi j which contain valence electrons only. In extended Huckel theory, no doubt we consider sigma and pi electrons, but only valence electrons. Core electrons are not considered. They are assumed to be frozen. This is very, very important. And therefore, we can say that psi I will be equal to summation Cij phi j, where phi j is the valence atomic orbital. It could be 2s, 2px, 2py, 2pz of carbon or heteroatom, and 1s of hydrogen. So this constitutes what we call as the basis set. Here I would like to emphasize that in the HMO, we had considered only 2p pi orbital, atomic orbital of carbon, 2pz, not which is in the plane, but which is at right angles. So pi orbitals were only considered. Here we are considering on all the valence atomic orbitals. So this is another difference. So once we have all these features, we apply the variation method for calculating the corresponding energy, and we get the secular determinant. And in this secular determinant, which looks like H11 minus E epsilon, then H12 minus epsilon S12, like that, we have the corresponding secular determinant. Here Hii is psi I star, H cap, psi I d tau, and which is like our Coulomb integral, which we discussed earlier. The off-diagonal elements Hij in the extended Huckel theory of Hofmann are given using an approximate formula, which is Hij is equal to half k, then in parenthesis we have Hii plus Hjj, and then multiplied by Sij. Here one needs to note that Hofmann proposed k to be an adjustable parameter, which is very important, and he assigned it a value of 1.75. This is something which one needs to remember. And once we solve the secular determinant under extended Huckel theory, one gets the total energy E under extended Huckel theory to be equal to 2 times epsilon I, where I is varying from 1 to total number of occupied molecular orbitals, and it is multiplied by 2 because each occupied orbital can contain 2 electrons. So that is basically what we have learned about extended Huckel theory of Hofmann. There are many applications of this very interesting theory. Applications include, it helps in the determination of the molecular structure, it helps in the computation of energy barriers for rotation about the bonds, It also helps in calculating the relative energies of different geometrical configurations of the molecules, and it has many other important roles such as determination of the energy and structure of transitions state in a reaction. This also helps to choose reaction mechanism on the basis of calculated energy data. These are very interesting and important applications of extended Huckel theory. However, these theories, and particularly this theory of Hofmann, it's not without drawbacks. This has certain drawbacks which include amongst others that Hij is not exact. As you saw, it is given by an expression, so it's not exact. Secondly, Hij increases with overlap, causing system to show minimum energy when atoms collapse. So this is a major drawback. And third, there are no core-core electrons considered, and no electron-electron interactions are considered in this approach as well. So these are some of the important drawbacks of extended Huckel theory of Hofmann. So to summarize what we have learned today, we saw that HMO theory, which has been used for a long time for studying simple pi conjugated systems, can be extended in many ways. And some of the ways include by considering non-nearest neighbor interactions, bond length alternations, heteroatoms and other substituents, and sigma and pi bounded systems. All sorts of techniques which consider these are coming under the name of extended Huckel theory. However, we went into the details of the extended Huckel theory as developed by Hofmann, and we saw that extended Huckel theory of Hofmann considers both sigma and pi orbitals and can be used for both planar and non-planar molecules. It also, like HMO, ignores electron-electron repulsions. It does not ignore overlap but calculates all overlap integral explicitly. The distinctive feature of extended Huckel theory is that it treats only the valence electrons. Core electrons are assumed to be frozen. And then we also saw that it starts with an assumption that the complete Hamiltonian is the sum of one electron Hamiltonians. Nonetheless, we have seen that the extended Huckel theory does show qualitative correct trends in an easily explicable manner.